Citizenship fraud from the people that vetted the refugees. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. It's something that happened in the very same department that promised us they would vet all the Syrian refugees and not let anyone in that shouldn't be allowed into the country. The latest report from Auditor General Michael Ferguson found that problems inside the immigration department led to at least a dozen people getting citizenship they weren't eligible to, and that may just be the tip of the iceberg. At least 4 people were found by Ferguson's department who received Canadian citizenship despite having criminal records for serious crimes that would render them ineligible. There were also 2 people that were granted citizenship even though they committed serious crimes after passing a criminal background check. And then there's the very disturbing issue of addresses. It seems that Citizenship and Immigration Canada, as it was then called, was not checking addresses thoroughly. And at one point, up to 50 people were using the same address during an overlapping period of time. Ferguson explains why this could be a real problem.
We found, for example, that in one situation there were 50 people that had provided the same address, so said they were living in the same address over overlapping periods of time. But Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada didn't identify that those people were supplying that same address. When people are supplying the same address over overlapping periods of time, it could be an indication that there could be an attempt to get citizenship through fraudulent means, but the department didn't do any further investigation on those cases.
Now, when you combine foreign students, permanent residents, refugees, the fact is the Immigration Department processes hundreds of thousands of people each year. But we have to remember, this is the same department that was in charge of processing the refugee rush. And they assured us and chastised anyone that questioned their ability to do full and complete security checks on absolutely everyone coming from one of the worst parts of the world, the war-torn Syrian region, an area where terrorists and criminals and war criminals were all working, all of them trying to use the refugee crisis to infiltrate places like Canada or the United States or Western Europe. Yet somehow, this department, this very same department charged with vetting the refugees, couldn't vet the people inside their own system, even though they had addresses on them, even though they could do criminal background checks. It raises a lot of questions, not just for the validity of the immigration system, something Ferguson says is very serious because Canadian citizenship comes with certain benefits that aren't available to others, whether it be the ability to travel without a visa to foreign countries, the ability to obtain healthcare services or subsidized education, but also because it does raise questions about the very fact that these same people were vetting the refugees and assuring us the whole time that everything was going to be fine. Now, we've been trying to get to the bottom of the refugee rush and how they actually vetted refugees from the beginning. The department hasn't been very willing to hand over information. They've taken 300-day extensions or more at times. They have denied that questionnaires on what they would be asking refugees exist, even though we know they do exist. But we will continue to push to get to the bottom of this. Maybe one day it will take an auditor's report to find out the type of information we've just discovered today.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.